Welcome, everybody, to round 8 of Pro Tour Cons of Tarkir here in Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm Brian David Marshall. I'm joined by Randy Buehler, and we are about to watch Brad Nelson versus Jamie Parke. Randy Buehler, what is the matchup?
Wait, are they supposed to be playing?
Brad Nelson is playing, we've been calling it red-white tokens. I see his deck list. He called it red-white Mac.
Whoops.
Mac means it's mid-range aggro control.
I love it.
All of the above. And, I mean, the deck is pretty sweet. It does have Fordling Outburst, Goblin Rabble Master, a bunch of ways to get tokens into play, which makes Stoke the Flames free. Sort of got the burn spells. His main deck is set up pretty aggressively. It's got Monastery Swift Spear in the main. You're an aggro deck if you're running Monastery Swift Spear. But, I mean, you see Brad's resume. Pretty nice. Closing in on 200 pro points. Wow.
That is not an accurate number there on Pro Tour Top 8s.
True. Yeah, no, that's not right. Jamie's is right.
Jamie's is right. So both these players come out immediately with Skrylands, no big push. Jamie Parke is playing Jeskai aggro.
Yeah. This is a pretty straightforward version of the Jeskai aggro list. The most interesting thing to me is the fact that he's on Team Pantheon, and nobody else from Pantheon that I'm aware of is playing the Jeskai aggro list. Like, they mostly lined up either behind the blue-black that Cuneo built or the Devotion variant that Reed Duke put together with See the Unwritten.
Bottom.
Chapin did play a version of a junk deck,
Right.
but most of them are on those two.
Yeah, Seeker of the Way comes down for Jamie Parke. It is promptly magma jetted on Brad Nelson.
It's a really good magic card.
Now, I was talking about Brad's main deck being set up very aggressively. His sideboard does give him the ability to transform into a very controller's deck.
I like the term Mac to describe a lot of decks that we've seen this weekend.
Mid-range aggro control.
Which seem to be going all the way around.
Goblins.
Okay, so there's a Hordling Outburst for Brad Nelson as he patiently waits for 3 tokens to show up from the judge. And then Jamie Parke holding a Mantis Rider, a Stoke the Flames, a Stormbreath Dragon, a Goblin Rabble Master, and a Disdainful Stroke. Wow.
Interesting. So he basically needs to decide whether he wants Mantis Rider or Rabble Master here.
Yep.
The Mantis Rider can start flying over. I think I'd go that way. But I mean, there's a lot to be said for playing a Rabble Master when your opponent is tapped out and can't burn it before it makes a Goblin. King of the Hill matchup this round's a nice one, by the way. Yuya Watanabe is one of the last 3 undefeated. So, yeah, Jamie does go Rabble Master here while Brad's tapped out. That makes sense.
So Tony Portolan's playing Yuya Watanabe. So if he keeps the King of the Hill, he will have
earned it.
Truly earned it. A very very fitting end boss for the 8-0 record.
Yeah, I like it. Watanabe also on Jeskai also has a Mantis Rider.
19.
His is in play and doing some good work apparently.
So Goblin Rabble Master comes down, makes a token. Brad just takes it. So sure. So
Jet 17. Go.
Yeah, Lightning Strike takes out the
Lightning
Rabble Master.
Strike takes down the Rabble Master, and he gets in for 3.
Brad with the one of Miser's Titan Strength.
So we should see a Mantis Rider here.
Yeah, it is not out of Lightning Strikes yet.
Okay.
18.
He's grounded.
Yep.
You get a look at Lightning Strike.
Upkeep. Titan strength. Right. Bottom.
Upkeep Titan Strength. He wants to scry before his draw
Yeah,
phase.
I love
And
it.
he's got a clear path, so he's going to get in for the damage.
6.
Yeah, gets in for 6, drops Jamie to 11. That does not look
Go.
like Brad found anything there.
No, he seems like he's kind of out of gas
So
at this
he's
point.
going to be. He is holding a Stoke the Flames, but that's been there for a little while.
Yeah.
But that'll be good when he sees the Stormbreath Dragon in Jamie's hand.
Oh, sure. I was thinking, Jake, it's got Jamie's effective 7 versus 3 goblins, but I think you're right. Does Jamie have the 5th land he needs? He's just
No,
got
it
4 in play.
No,
he
it
does
gets
not have the 5th land he needs.
Disdainful Stroke, another Rabble Master, Jeskai Charm, his own Stoke the Flames, and Stormbreath Dragon.
Oh, Realm Master.
Yeah. Brad probably needs to stoke this before combat. And does.
That's what he does, yeah.
Now Jamie's like, am I attacking with my 1/1? I seem to be at 11. I mean, Brad's down to one card in hand, but I think Jamie will block now. Doesn't really want to take 3 a turn. Take 2.
Yep.
Put you at 9. Your go.
2 cards? No.
2.
Oh, Brad just says go. Drew another land, I think. Battlefield Forge. Looking as tough as he can, though.
Yeah.
Certainly
Yep.
doing his best to represent strength.
Brad has got quite a table presence when he plays Magic.
It's true.
Go ahead.
There's Seeker of the Way.
Seeker of the Way.
You have 4.
Seeker of the Way not only is 2/2 big enough to block those 1/1s, but if you manage to trigger prowess and deal damage, the lifelink seems very relevant, especially to this matchup. Seeker of the Way is a good card.
It's been really impressive. I've seen it in a number of different decks. I've seen it make its way into the blue-white heroic decks.
You have 3.
Definitely.
Got it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if everybody picked up on this as a constructed staple, but it's going to be around for a while. Definitely good.
So another Hordeling Outburst.
Off the top. Helps.
Go. 2 cards. Correct.
Mike Sigrist with Herald of Torment bestowed in the feature match area.
Oh, nice.
Sigrist is 7-0, right?
He is 7-0. Yes.
He just managed to kill a Sarkon.
Wow. He's pared down this round because the
there's
other
only
7-0
3
matchup
7-0s,
is the King of the Hill match.
Speaking of which, by the way, Watanabe got that first game.
Okay. Yeah, I see Portal in sideboarding. Switch seats again. Switch sides of the table again this round.
Sigrist playing against John Sittner. Sigrist playing Abzan, which we've seen a lot of, but Abzan aggro.
What is Abzan aggro? Anafenza?
It's the Herald of Torment.
Oh, the Herald of Torment, sure.
Does have Anafenza as well, I believe. But, like, if you're playing, I don't know if there's probably Bloodstoke Champion in the list.
I love that card. Okay. What do we got here? A Goblin Rabble Master now for Brad Nelson.
You have how many?
2.
Jamie's still been struggling to find that 5th land. He's got spells.
I mean, the raise the alarm to make 2 tokens to
And
trigger prowess on my Seeker of the Way could be filthy here.
it's pretty sexy.
You know,
he wishes-
kill 3 of your goblins, gain 3 life.
He wishes he could disdainful stroke that Rabble Master, though. He actually has to decide whether he wants to stoke the Rabble Master and whether he wants to do it pre-combat. There's lots of tricky options with this hand. Like, if he stokes the Rabble Master, then he's not going to get the surprise life-linking blocker. Brad will, of course, know what's up.
Right.
I almost, don't you want the little 1/1 to be forced to attack?
Yeah.
But then Brad's going to attack with everything, and there's a lot of those other guys. It's a surprisingly tricky spot.
He says it resolves. So now that it's resolved, everybody comes in.
All the goblins.
So
It's got to be the raise the alarm
I
line,
think
right?
you have to raise the alarm here, yeah.
Yeah, raise the alarm, block, 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 gain 3, take net 0.
Well, you can also then raise the alarm and then stoke. And
even
gain
better.
4 off your Seeker.
We block first. and
Yeah,
then
you
stoke.
block first, yeah.
What? Wow. Raise the alarm, make 2 guys, and trigger prowess on my Seeker of the
So
Way.
Seeker's now a 3/3 lifelinker. He's got 2 red mana available to him, and he's got 3 creatures too.
Block, block, block.
Sure.
Says, okay, I'll block these 3.
And now he can still cast Stoke the Flames before combat. I mean, before damage resolve.
Yes.
To kill the Rabble Master.
Yep.
Wow.
Kill 3 of your goblins, gain 4 life, kill your Rabble Master. Jamie goes from 9 to 13 there.
Now he breaks even. He still takes 3.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Then
He takes net
then
0.
Then he takes 3, so he goes to 10.
Oh, right. He does gain. It is net +1 because
Yeah.
the Stoke gives the prowess trigger. Take 3 through time. He's gonna guess dig through time before he can find the 5th mana for Stormbreath Dragon. Hilarious.
Go.
Could have gone dig through time main phase there to find a land, but he says go. Wants to make sure he's leaving up Jeskai Charm.
Go.
Yep, here comes
Now
the dig.
And he's going to spend 2 mana so he doesn't have to remove his entire graveyard.
Yes, take 3 times.
Results.
7 cards.
Looking at 7 cards is so
good.
amazing. Has that card showed up in your Vintage Rotisserie drafts already?
It wasn't legal in the last one I did. Cons had not come out on Magic Online yet. We were playing the feature matches on
There
Magic
you
Online.
see the cards he's looking at. So another dig through time and Banishing Light seem like the 2 choices. Oh, but he really wants that 5th land.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to take a land.
Yeah, he's going to take a land.
He took what, land Banishing Light?
Yeah, it looks like he took land back.
Yeah, I don't think you need another dig. You've got plenty of gas in your hand. You just need
Cards.
to not die.
Just, if we're going to go with the Sphinx's Revelation comparison that was made by Stanislav Sivka, you have to dig through time into another dig through time, right? Isn't that how that works? Here comes Stormbreath Dragon.
Stormbreath Dragon.
Results. Go.
Wow, Stormbreath Dragon, go.
Stormbreath go. Not unreasonable.
Yeah. Well, he's got another Stormbreath Dragon in a holding pattern.
William Jensen, by the way, slowly gaining control. He got that Shahar Shenhar got him down to 4. Jensen's actually back up to 7 due to various lands.
Has he gotten his Pearl
Radiant
Lake? Has he gotten?
Fountain being a star.
I was going to say, yeah. Has he gotten his Pearl Lake Ancient Radiant Fountain engine going?
It's just the Radiant Falcon, right? Radiant Fountain right now.
So income, Stormbreath, and Seeker of the Way.
No blocks.
So no blocks.
Also, some lifelink.
Take 9. You're at 19.
I go to 19.
I go to 19.
Good.
Watanabe's got another turn 3 Mantis Rider on the King of the Hill table. Oh, wow. Jensen did not quite get there.
Oh,
Shahar picks up game 1.
is that a pair of Monastery Swift Spears?
It is.
Check. No blocks. No fix.
The goblins stay on
Go.
defense, though. Brad's living in fear of Raise the Alarm now.
One card.
I guess so. So there you see a hand, Disdainful Stroke, Banishing Light, Stormbreath Dragon.
Siege Rhino for the finish from Mike Sigrist, by the way. Finishes off that game. The Herald of Torment, having killed a Sarkon earlier.
Finishing light.
Banishing Light.
He's going to Banishing Light 1 token so he can get in with a 3/3 Seeker of the Way. No, he's going to take out his
Tech.
I mean,
Take
I
out
think
a
he's
Swift Spear.
okay with
Yeah, he's
trading
okay
his
with trading
3/3
three
life
for the
linker
token.
for
Yeah.
3 tokens.
Yep,
And Brad
5.
smells a burn spell,
right.
I go
which,
to
to be fair, there
Yeah,
was,
yes,
of course.
of course. Yeah, this game is just going in the wrong direction for these 2 players. Well, the right direction for Jamie, but just going.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
Brad
That's
has
enough for
seen
Brad.
Scoop him up.
So, tell people what happens. Well, you know what? Let's hear a quick word from our sponsors, as it were, and then we'll be back to talk about what happens in Game 2 with Brad Nelson's deck.
Pump bigger game by playing in a Grand Prix. These open tournaments feature the best players in your region as well as top Magic pros from around the world. Upcoming Grand Prix include Los Angeles, Stockholm, Nashville, Santiago, New Jersey, and Madrid. Visit wizards.com/Grand Prix for a complete schedule.
All right, there you get a look at the feature match area here in round 8, the last round of day 1, where our main match here is Brad Nelson versus Jamie Parke. Those guys are sideboarding, but we're gonna take a live peek here at King of the Hill Tony Portland versus
a live
Yuya
look in
Watanabe.
as Yuya Watanabe
Hey, not so-
happily, quickly signs the result slip. His Mantis Riders got there.
Dead alive looking.
Jeskai aggro 8-0.
Yeah, Yuya Watanabe just won a ridiculous day 1, 8-0, King of the Hill going in. Everyone else, be scared tomorrow.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Jeskai deck looks solid too.
So it sounds like Shahar and William Jensen are underway in game 2. So we do have. I don't think these guys could finish a game in a very quick fashion. Although Goblin Rabble Master is going to make an attempt.
20.
I was hanging out with a couple of these guys between rounds. The blue-black control players still feel okay about their deck choice. I mean, they're not saying, "Oh my God, blue-black control is the most awesomest thing ever." They're like, "Oh, it's fine."
You've pointed out to them that it has not won a match on camera yet.
I did not point that out.
And Billy Jensen is discarding against
Shahar's
Goblin
up
Rabble Master
again.
and Mantis Rider.
Oh, it's going to 06 on camera.
This is just kind of insane.
I mean, again, these guys wouldn't keep getting feature matches if they were losing all of their matches. But this is looking like a quick 06. Jeez.
So while we get ready to go back to our match with Brad Nelson and Jamie Parke, explain to people what the MAC is in Brad Nelson's deck name. He called it
Mid-range aggro control.
Why is that?
Well, his sideboard gives him the ability to transform into a completely controlling deck. Main deck we saw, he's got Swift Spears, he's got Rabble Masters, he's got Hordling Outbursts, he's got a Seeker of the Way. But his sideboard, he can bring in End Hostilities. He can bring in Elspeth, Chandra, Suspension Field, Hammer of Perforos, Banishing Light, and another land with a Windsguard Crag. So if he thinks the matchup calls for him to be the control deck, to just like the red-white blow stuff up control deck, done.
I imagine Swift Spears come out.
This does not seem like the Swift Spear matchup.
Yes.
No.
And what's interesting to note is he's already got a lot of those elements in his main deck, right? He's got the spot removal, he's got the chain to the rocks, he's got the lightning strikes, he's got the stoke the flames.
Yeah, no, it's the nice thing, the way red-white lines up, those burn spells, they can play double duty, right? You can point them at creatures, you can point them at faces, just depending on the needs of the matchup. So it's really just the creature set versus the control cards is the option, and you can sort of line it up. Now, I mean, the Jeskai decks have the same thing. You know what Jamie Parke has in his sideboard? He has End Hostilities. He has Magma Spray. He has Negate, right? He has another Dig Through Time. He has Anger of the Gods. He has the ability to transform his deck as well.
He has even more End Hostilities than Brad does.
Right. So you have both players with sort of 75 card list that they can just decide which 60 makes sense in the matchup. But I don't know if either one of them realizes exactly what the matchup will be for Game 2.
Right. This really reminds me very much of Worlds 2005. Where we saw, like the Japanese contingent tearing through that tournament on day 1 with this sort of, very controlling Ghazi Glare list that turned into like a greater good combo list at some,
Right.
like their decks would just like switch up.
Yeah, no, there was a couple of years there where the Japanese would do that. Where their deck was like 2 decks shuffled together, it felt like.
Yeah, and the thinking there was they wanted a day 1 list that had a day 2 plan.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually mixing up 4 different decks there, but you
That's
get
fine.
the idea. There you get a look at Brad Nelson, former Player of the Year. You know, really, Hawaii. This is like the 5-year mark in Brad Nelson's professional Magic career.
Sure.
Hawaii 2009. That's his Pro Tour debut.
Yep.
He was a Magic Online player, and he finished 9th at that first Pro Tour.
Right.
I'll keep this.
And quickly, we can
I like it. He uses Monastery Swift Spear to cast a mountain.
feels like a very Jeskai thing to who casts who. You know, this very kind of riddle.
You were predicting the Swift Spears would come out, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, he may be aware of what Jamie's doing, and maybe he just, went to mix it up. I don't know. We don't know if he went for the control route.
Right. Jamie does now seem to have Anger the Gods in his deck. I don't think that was in the main.
Okay.
Temple of Triumph
It was not
pushes
in
a
the main.
card.
Gain a life. You lose a life.
All right, 21 to 18.
Correct. Go.
Nelson 21, Parke 18.
Then Brad attacks, plays his land. Jamie has a fistful of cards, but
Puts Magma
no-
Spray on the stack out of fear that Brad's going to play an instant to trigger prowess and save his guy.
Yeah,
But
no
Brad
mana
doesn't.
no mana to cast them.
Yeah.
Outburst.
You keep that draw, though, right?
You're up.
I mean, one
It's-
Scry land with a couple of Magma Sprays,
Sure.
a couple of Seekers, you totally keep that draw.
Yeah.
He needs land now, though. That Hordling Outburst is going to eat him up pretty quick. Don't want to trade Magma Spray for those guys. You want to play Anger. Okay, now here's Scry land into...
Well, if he's thinking about it, it's not a land, right?
You can't keep anything but land.
Yeah. If he even sets it aside to think for a second,
Yeah, it's
not
headed
a
to the
land.
bottom. You can't keep anything but land there.
15. Yep.
Brad going to follow up with more?
Oh, he's got
Chandra.
a Chandra.
That doesn't die to Anger the Gods.
Nelson 21, Parke 14.
Just ticks Chandra right up to 5.
Sure.
And Jamie is just
More burn.
got a glut of
Could play
cards here.
Seeker to try to block,
Seeker. Sure. Go.
and that's his line. He's probably expecting it to absorb a burn spell,
0.
which he's probably fine with.
Zero's Chandra, which means he gets to
That'll work.
play
Does
a
the
spell
deck
off the
roll?
top of his deck.
3.
Gets chained to the rocks, moves Seeker of the way, out of the way,
Another life.
and gets in for 3.
Go.
Nelson's got another chain to the rocks in his hands. He's got to stoke the flames. How much of a guessing game? I have to assume that these guys know a little bit of what's going on with each
Yeah.
other's decks.
Two pretty high-profile players, pretty high-profile teams.
0. Yep.
Oh, Elspeth, does he have the land in his hand? He does, doesn't he? Chandra finds Elspeth.
That's just ridiculous.
Well, I got an update for you. We now know our round 9 feature match.
Oh, really?
Round 9, Mike Segrest will be playing Yuya Watanabe at the King of the Hill table.
Wow. Those
They
are the
are your
last two?
undefeateds overnight. Those are the only two 8-0s. Mike Segrest with Obzon aggro.
So Obzon aggro versus Jeskai aggro.
Yeah.
That'll be the matchup tomorrow morning.
Well, no, they'll be playing draft. We'll
Oh,
see
they'll
what
be
they
playing
draft.
Yeah, it could be the match. It
It could be.
It could very well be. All right. There is a land for Jamie Parke.
Is it in time? Those Planeswalkers seem like they're going to force a game 3 to me.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, Anger can sweep the board, but doesn't deal with the Planeswalkers.
Pass the turn.
It says pass the turn.
Yep. Check 10.
Nelson 22, Parke 10.
Yeah, Brad says Seeker can't block. No lifelink for you. I think Jamie was just hoping maybe Brad would mess that up. Trigger some lifelink. Brad's not having any of
No
it.
thanks.
Nothing else for me.
All right.
You're at 4.
Stoke?
22, Parke 4.
Yep.
You might be worried about disdainful stroke. Doesn't necessarily stroke here.
Scratch. Sure.
Jamie goes to 4. Elspeth ticks up.
Go.
Passes the turn.
I mean, Brad does have the lethal stroke, but he's playing around disdainful stroke. Even though it's not there. Still, Jamie's clearly going to have to tap mana to deal with the
I'll let you
horde of
stroke and
tokens.
redirect to Elspeth.
How do you, don't you stoke there? He's just in, I don't want to show you another card mode.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe he's just like, look, if Jamie taps out or doesn't does anything, I can just kill him.
He was tapped out for the lightning strike.
Yeah.
Well, close enough. Okay. Jamie goes to trigger lifelink. I'm pretty sure Brad responds with Stoke to Flames.
Jamie just Brad just blocks with a token.
Sure.
No lifelink.
Yeah, he's not even going to bother with the anger. All right. We get a game 3. I'm slightly. I'm sure Mike Sigrid is sitting on 8-0. I figured we'll get him on camera tomorrow at some point. This Obs on aggro list, I'm just looking at the deck list. It's pretty interesting. So, Fleecemane Lion, Rakshas the Death Dealer,
Ooh.
Heir of the Wilds.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the 1/2/2/2 Death Touch guy.
Yeah, and it becomes a 3/3 when you attack with Ferocious.
Exactly. He's got Thoughtseize, Anafenza. He's got Obs on Charm, Herald of Torment, 3 copies of Sorin, 4 Siege Rhinos. I mean,
Okay.
that's a pretty threatening set of spells, and it is more aggressive than pretty much than what everybody else has set up.
Right. He's topping out at Siege Rhino, where it almost feels like some of the other Obzon decks are getting started at Siege Rhino.
Here's the thing: the other Obzon decks are playing Courser and Caryatid. What I did not list off in that list of spells was
Right.
Courser Crewfix or Sylvan Caryatid.
Right.
That's what makes it an aggro deck. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't want Courser, I want Herald of Torment. I don't want
I'm just going to
Caryatid.
start putting things on the board that you have to deal with
Yeah.
because they will kill you.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense, and it's clearly working for him, too.
Yeah. Well, 8-0. This is certainly his best start to a Pro Tour in his career.
Sure.
And, wow, really impressive. He'll be drafting at the same table as Yuya.
He will. He'll be playing Yu in the first round, in limited,
Yeah,
obviously.
so it's very funny. We did an interview with Team Face-to-Face Games yesterday.
Right, he's playing with face-to-face.
He's playing with face-to-face games, and he came on to face-to-face games, like one of their free agent acquisitions, and he came on. He's the limited expert,
Right.
right? And it's like, okay, well, how did that feel? Why do you come in as the limited expert, giving him an opportunity to? And they're like, well, mostly because he's not very good at constructed. It's a very,
Wow.
very, very. They're very. They take a lot of jabs at each other on that team.
Sure.
But he's clearly putting that to like, hey, Goblin Rattle Master, big card this weekend. We're seeing it in a
Definitely.
lot of different decks. Let's talk a little bit about it. It's potent in both Goblin and non-Goblin decks. I mean, because you see people playing it in control decks.
Yes.
Where it's just like, well, this is the card I'm going to play. It's going to be the last thing that happens, and it is just going to be my Killjar and Outpost. It's just going to put out a guy every turn, and you are going to have to deal with that. It's. I mean, Foundry Street Denizen and Perforos. I don't know if we've seen much of that. Although
A little bit.
there is a Perforos in the sideboard or is it
It's a hammer.
It's
It's a
a
hammer.
hammer Perforos.
I saw Foundry Street Denizen. Somebody, who's playing Foundry Street Denizen and like super aggro red? Conley Woods.
Conley Woods might be playing fewer lands in his constructed deck than he's playing in his limited decks this weekend.
That's a good
I
one.
believe he is playing 17 land aggro red.
He is.
So I'm
18
pretty
in
sure.
limited,
I'm
probably.
pretty sure he's playing 18 lands in his limited decks.
That's what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
Unless they're playing 19.
Unless they're
more
playing 19.
19s than
Jeremy
17s.
Desani in the deck we watched him draft.
Yep.
He played 19 lands on the play.
Wow.
And 18 lands on the draw. He was citing out. We had talked
Makes
about what his one loss with that draft deck came because he kept a one lander.
Yep.
But he kept a one lander knowing he had 19 lands.
Sure.
And multiple 2-drops in his hand.
Sure.
So very interesting.
Yeah, so we are waiting for Game 3 still. Brad Nelson and Jamie Parke are sideboarding up for Game 3. They are the last feature match standing this round.
Yes.
Other matches, just to update you on where we are. Mike Segrist, we were just talking about the Obs on aggro deck. He beat John Sittner. Yuyu Watanabe with a Jeskai aggro deck beat Tony Pantalone to get to the King of the Hill. And then Shahar Shenhar sweeps 2-0 versus William Jensen, dropping blue-black control to 0-6 in feature matches.
That's kind of crazy to me. I mean, obviously
Yeah, it
it's a
is.
very small sample size,
Yeah.
but we've come up with some situations where it makes sense. But blue black control has not looked good under the lights at all.
No. Jeskai Ascendancy combo has looked good under the lights.
Yes.
And that deck seems to be doing well. I mean,
Didn't Dave wasn't one of Dave Williams' losses
Yeah, no, I
with
was
Jessica
talking-
Ascendancy a kind of one of those kind of like head
right, so
shaker
Dave
losses?
is 3-1 with the deck. We saw him win on camera last round, but his one loss with the deck, and he was beating himself up for this on Twitter. He was playing against a blue-white heroic deck that had him under enough pressure that he had to go off quickly. I think turn 3 or something, and he had it, but he didn't play his land for the turn, and he got hit by a force spike.
So he went like Jeskai Ascendancy before he played his land.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, and run into stubborn denial.
stubborn denial. Yeah.
Stubborn denial. Pay 1 extra, and he's just like, just one of those jaw-dropping moments. He just literally threw the game away. I mean, it's a fairly obscure scenario. Like, there's not a lot of force spikes floating around, but you know what? Stubborn denial's a card.
It's certainly a card you've seen people playing today.
Yeah, no. Brian Kibler played a teamer deck this weekend. Didn't do very well, but
Right.
Savage Knuckle Blade.
He is not playing tomorrow, right? He's one of the
He
players
has
that's
already been eliminated from day 2. But he had Stubborn Denial in his teamer list because you know what? Sometimes it just counters anything for 1 mana.
right.
But yeah, so Dave should be 4-0. Paul Cheon is 4-0 with the deck.
All right, let me ask you an etiquette question in Magic.
Okay.
You play your Jeskai Ascendancy, you have your land in hand, you haven't played it, you get stubborn denialed. What's the correct follow-up to that play?
You mean, do you play the land?
Do you play your land, or do you just pass?
Playing the land after you get either force spiked or mana leak, it is one of the most embarrassing things that ever happens to a Magic player. We've all done it. Yeah.
What's the correct play? I mean,
is the
do you
game
not
over?
want to give him the satisfaction?
No, it depends if the game's over or not. Like, if there's literally lethal crackback, I'm not playing my land. I just say go. If
there's a shot.
If I'm gonna get another turn, then you just shrug, play the land. It's such an embarrassing moment. It may be the single most embarrassing thing that can happen to a Magic player.
And it's
happen
happened to
routinely.
everyone. Yeah.
Mana leaks more often than spikes, but
Sure.
still.
All right, it sounds like these guys are ready for our Game 3, so let's send it back down to the floor for Brad Nelson versus Jamie Parke. These guys are playing to go 6-2 on the day. There you get a look at the feature match table. Big overhead view. Brad Nelson there facing us. Jamie Parke mulliganing his Game 3 hand here.
It's funny. I know Nate Price has been doing polls all day and doing Cover It Live stuff. He did a poll to see which addition to the coverage people were most happy with. Is it the how many matches are left in the round countdown between rounds, or
Sure.
is it the morphs in play graphic we're using in limited? Turns out round status wins.
Yeah.
Close one, 54-46.
You know what? I think it could have been bigger. The people who are getting the round status are just so happy they didn't even bother to vote. All right, Jamie Parke is on the play here. He lost Game 2.
Interesting. The hand that he mulliganed had 2 lands in it, but they were both Battlefield Forges.
Oh,
A little painful for this matchup. Looking at some other matches that have happened off camera, even Flock lost to Felipe Tapia Becerra. So Flock falls to 6-2, still in fine shape, but not the 7-1. And I know we saw Paul Reitzel was saying every time he's ever started 7-1, he's made the top 8. He is not starting 7-1.
Ugh.
He's 6-2 after losing to Andre Strasky.
I mean, and Andre Strasky now, he's got to be feeling pretty good about himself. Going back to his hotel room tonight. He's like, yeah, I beat Paul
7-1,
Reitzel,
took out the Hall of
7-1.
Famer. Park Jun-young recovered from losing King of the Hill to finish off a 7-1.
You see Brad Nelson just remaining stone-faced throughout Jamie's mulligan decision. Jamie's keeping his 6. And we are underway.
That is not a temple.
And it's not a temple, says Brad Nelson. Is that windswept heath?
21.
Father Strain.
It is flooded strain, okay.
Yep.
Nelson 21, Parke 20.
There's the Battlefield Forge. Slow to develop here for Jamie. For a Jeskai aggro deck, anyway.
Yeah. Brad is declining to play turn 2 Seeker of the Way? Or is that last game's hand? No, there it is. He's just declining.
Parke 20.
Rather sit on Magma Jet and Searing Blood. And
Yeah, I guess he doesn't have the third land, so he's hoping for Magma Jet target. Maybe go... turns out there is a Magma Jet target.
Yeah.
Jamie's face will serve just fine. Wow, pair of disdainful strokes for Jamie. He's set up for the long game.
Just both top.
Both top.
Couple of disdainful strokes.
both top.
And a dig through time. Look, Jamie going to try to recover from that mulligan, but
I mean, dig. I don't know if he'll have the time to dig through time. I mean, Brad's not doing anything, though.
which is great news. I mean, Jamie's hand is very vulnerable to like 3 drops. But I mean, if Brad has expensive cards, Jamie's can deal with those.
So you see a pair of Jeskai Charms,
Yeah.
2 Disdainful Strokes, a Dig Through Time. There you're going to look at Disdainful Stroke. 1U. Counter target spell will convert a mana cost 4 or greater. It's just gets big creatures. It gets planeswalkers.
Super
gets
efficient when it works.
Yeah.
But sometimes they just kill you with things you can't point it at.
Go.
Yeah, both players just playing a little bit of draw go here. And
Target you. Jet 16.
Brad's like, I'm just going to keep burning you. I know at the end I have a Stoke of Flames. I just have to figure out a way to bridge there.
12 in the middle, maybe a little harder.
So 1 on top, 1 on the bottom.
Correct. Got it. Receipt.
See Brad pull the land that he put on top and then shuffle so he's not clear which one.
Well, here's Chandra. That is going to run straight into the
Yeah.
Disdainful Stroke. Jamie does have to go crack Flooded Strand to get a pain-free source of blue mana. Wow. Pain-free in the future.
Yeah.
He's going to crack that that fetch land eventually.
There,
so
there,
it
there's
feels
a,
pain-free.
there is a down payment you need to make
A
on
down
it.
payment?
Yeah.
Down payment? We'll allow it.
Okay, so there's the stroke.
Results.
Now a window maybe for Jamie to put a Mantle Strider into play.
He's got to find one, didn't he?
I think he's holding one.
Oh, he got one now. Great. Love the 5th land so that he could leave up the other Disdainful Stroke.
and
no,
that's what he's waiting for.
He's leaving up. He's got Negate now, too. Negate, Jeskai Charm, Disdainful Stroke, 4 instants, plus a Dig Through Time that he can't quite cast yet.
And, it looks like he just added Stoke the Flames to the mix, or is that Magma Spray?
It's also 7 spells. He's going to have to start casting things or be forced to discard if he can't draw a land.
Oh, that's a Magma Spray. There we go. 5th land for Brad Nelson.
Yeah, 5th land for Jamie would be really nice because it does let him play Mantis Rider while still leaving up, Negate and Disdainful Stroke. That was not a land. Now what?
And you just discard something?
Rather than cast Mantis Rider? It's tough. Maybe.
I mean, wouldn't you rather just let
Discard a
Brad
Magma Spray?
kill something?
What's that?
Nope. He just discards Magma Spray. He doesn't want to let his gates down.
It's almost like he turned Magma Spray into Lotus Petal. I mean, he does get some value off the dig through time. Whirling Outburst. I can. Great. Yeah, you do things, please.
I will negate that. Yeah.
Go.
Getting to the point where he's going to be able to cast that.
Yeah, dig through time is coming into play. Oh, he drew Deflecting Palm.
Another Hordling Outburst.
Well,
This one...
not going to get negated. Disdainful Stroke can't counter it.
Sure.
Jeskai Charm can't answer it well. He can dig, though. Right, he can tap out and use all 4 cards.
Yeah. There's Seeker of the Way. Okay. Brad sort of just glowers in Jamie's direction. Jamie's
Well,
like,
maybe this thing where, Brad is sort of slow rolling cards, making Jamie discard. But now that Jamie has the ability to dig through time, which Brad can count. Brad's totally capable of seeing this coming. So now he's trying to do things to force Jamie to either deal with his stuff or, give away his opportunity to dig through time.
There's definitely a 5th land in there. And then
Feels like an Anger or an End Hostilities would be just spectacular here. We don't know if the End Hostilities are in.
I see a Banishing Light. I see a Stormbreath Dragon. Mantis Rider. Or maybe that's not
What's
a...
that red spell?
No, that wasn't a Stormbreath Dragon.
It's a Stoke, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah, Stoke, Mantis Rider, Banishing Light. 4 lands.
Can you tell which one's your hand? That's your hand, right?
This is my hand, yeah.
Okay.
Really wants a sweeper. I mean, the Hordling Outburst and the Seeker. If he could come up with Anger... And the fact that we saw last game that he sideboarded in Anger, it makes me strongly suspect he sideboarded in Hostilities. Maybe not. Anyway, sweeper would be really good.
And what did he take?
Okay.
Took
Land Banishing
yeah,
Light.
Land Banishing Light, yeah.
So much gas in his hand. Just needs to be able to unload it all.
Yeah, double Mantis Rider over double Jeskai Charm.
Yeah, 13.
Goes to 13 from his fetch land.
Sure seems like the Jeskai list is favored against red-white because of exactly dig through time. It just feels like the late game is inevitably going to go to Jamie.
What big spell do you got now?
And Brad's early game doesn't even seem that much better. I mean, he
Right.
gets Hordling Outburst. I mean, it's decent. He is able to come out a little more aggressively.
So, Banishing Light on the Seeker of the Way.
I'm going to respond. Oh, stoke you.
Interesting. And Jamie has to decide whether he wants to Disdainful Stroke this. Or Deflecting. No, he can't Deflecting Palm it with the mana he left up. Seems like you do, right? Disdainful Stroke? Or do you leave it untapped to counter Planeswalkers?
I mean, he goes down to 9 here.
And then there's 3 goblins attacking.
and
He
then,
goes down
right.
to 6. I think Disdainful Stroke.
Fucking palm.
So you take 1, though?
How does he palm off an island?
So you're at 12.
We just
You can't cast Deflecting Palm
Oh,
off an
yeah,
island.
you don't have mana to do
Oh,
that.
jeez.
Does he still take the 1? I'm kidding.
No, we're reversing the casting of the spell. It's a game rule violation.
Yeah.
So, have you had any other ones today?
Oh, no.
Okay, so just
Just be careful. Can you record it?
Just name it straight.
Sure. So you're right now. What's your total?
Now it's still 13.
Okay. I just want to make sure. All right. This results.
Yep.
So, yep, counters the stroke, counters the stoke, I should say. The Banishing Light takes out the Seeker of the Way, and then Jamie's going to fall to 10 from the Horde and the Outburst tokens.
Brad scries very quickly to the bottom. Brad's got left.
He's got a Chain to the Rocks, a Lightning Strike, a Searing Blood, and another Stoke of Flames.
That's 4, 7.
7 and some, maybe some damage from Searing Blood.
Stoke you. Put you at 6.
6.
Yeah, while Jamie's tapped out, Brad goes ahead and points the Stoke at him.
Nelson 21, Parke 6.
Yeah, well, he also knows that the deflecting palm is in Jamie's hand.
Point.
Jamie gave that information away.
Good point.
It's not the best time to reveal this is true, huh?
No, there's not another Stoke. Yeah, the Stoke's in the graveyard now. So he's down to Lightning Strike, Searing Blood, and 3 Goblins. Yeah, Mantis Rider blocks and attacks.
I'm at 18.
Probably soaks up a Lightning Strike.
Yep.
Although Deflecting Palm may have something to say about that.
Chain to the Rocks.
That is an excellent answer to Mantis Rider.
Results.
There you get a look at the Mantis Rider. Flying
Clearing a
Vigilance
path for
and
those
haste.
Goblins.
You're at 2.
What?
Lightning Strike you.
Lightning Strike you with, you have the Deflecting Palm, but you have 2 Pain Lands up to cast
That's
it.
hilarious. Shivan Reef and Battlefield Forge. While you're at 2, do not, in fact, allow you to cast Deflecting Palm.
And showing that deflecting palm really changed the direction of that game for Brad. I mean, it changed his sequencing.
Could have gone
Sure.
to 5, but
Well, he may very well have still played it on his own turn to be safe, but he knew something was up now.
Right.
Oh yeah, I mean
Definitely.
Yeah, he knew there was a window. Wow. So Brad Nelson goes to 6-2.
He does.
He's in solid shape. Jamie Parke's still alive, very much alive.
5-3.
Yeah, 5-3. I mean, he's run off some wins in the past. He
Right.
could do it again, but not feeling as good. Probably kicking himself a little bit about that deflecting palm play.
His deck didn't give him the lands he needed. If he'd
No.
drawn lands earlier, he had all the tools he needed in his hand.
I mean,
he just didn't have the turns to deploy them once he finally found the
He
mana.
was discarding spells.
Yeah, he was discarding and then eventually digs through time to find his lands.
Yeah.
That's not going to get it done
No.
against a decent draw.
Yeah. No, so crazy. So what's your takeaway here?
I still don't know what's good in standard. That's my takeaway. Jeskai Ascendancy combo is real, but a little fragile, but real.
We know that if we're on camera, we don't want to be playing blue-black control.
Definitely not. 06 on camera.
Yeah.
Blue-black control does not
It's
look
probably
great
great for you on Friday Night Magic,
Sure.
but on camera, no good right now.
Right. We saw Obzon mid-range do quite well. Ari Lox in particular looked good playing it. But then it's Obzon aggro that actually goes to 8-0. We saw a lot of Jeskai aggro, and a lot of it doing well, including Yu Yu Watanabe.
Right.
So, yeah, Jeskai aggro, Obzon aggro. It's felt like if you could find a way to build a solid aggro deck, there's not a lot of aggro in the field, and people kind of hedge. People are like, I need to beat the Courser Caryatid decks. For me, everybody came in knowing they needed to beat green, especially Green Devotion, but also sort of green-based mid-range. And those decks didn't do great because that's what everybody was expecting.
Right. And without a really clearly defined control deck to clean up that mess, that deck seems to have feasted today, that archetype. It sounds like we're ready to wrap things up here in the booth, tidy up, clean up some of these deck sheets, throw away our coffee cups while we send it back to the news desk for Rich Hagon to find out how the rest of the tournament's gone, other than what we see through our little porthole.
All right, thanks so much to Brian David Marshall and Randy Buehler wrapping up feature match action on day one. Of course, we'll bring you the final standings when we have them. Results coming through the ticker. Yuya Watanabe goes to 8-0. He will be one of 2 players with the perfect record. Tony Portolan falls to 7-1. Felipe Tapia Becerra, the former Rookie of the Year, he's up to 7-1 at the expense of our last Pro Tour champion, Evan Flock. The number 5 ranked player in the world will start day 2 at 6-2. Park Jun-young of South Korea, he advances to 7-1. Andrei Strasky of the Czech Republic, 7-1. That's Paul Rietzel's vanquisher in the last round. So Rietzel, Hall of Fame, 6-2 overnight. Also 6-2 is Maciej Janik of Poland. He lost out to David Palmer of the United States, who's had a fantastic day here at the Pro Tour, to end at 7-1. And then John Sittner falls to 6-2 because the man we're about to deck tech got to 8-0. Over to the video wall, Zach Hill with the perfect 8-0 man, Mike Sigrist.